to be watching some incredibly hard riddles, and you won't get all of them right. But I will, because I'm a genius.
So Bill had stomach cramps and
He
went
did
to
have
the
stomach
hospital where he was
Try the
prescribed some
toilet
pills.
first.
The next
Okay.
morning, he was found unconscious.
Ooh, that's not good. Wrong
Police
pills.
found someone had switched the pills and questioned 3 suspects.
But who did it?
Dr. Johnson, his cardiologist, saw him at 3 in the afternoon and wrote the prescription.
Okay.
John, the hospital
afternoon.
cleaner, came to clean the room at 7 a.m., found him, and called the police. Susan, his nurse, brought the pills to him at 8 that morning. Who's lying?
It's got to be Susan who's lying. Susan! Because 8 a.m. he was found at 7 a.m. Susan!
Susan. The cleaner called the police 1 hour before she claimed to have brought him the pills.
But what if the cleaner and the police were in it together? Didn't think of that one, did you?
Mia got a new cat and brought it
Meow. 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 Meow.
into her apartment where she lived with 3 other people. But all her roommates disliked her new pet. 3 months later, she went on a 2-day business trip, but when she came back, the cat was gone. She questioned all her roommates. Steve didn't
Liar.
notice the cat was missing.
He's laughing.
David said he was allergic to cats and couldn't survive a day with one around him. Sean was the one taking care of the cat, and he was shocked he couldn't find it that morning. Who's lying?
I wasn't really listening to what they were saying. I'm going to say the middle one because he was laughing. I don't know.
David. If he was allergic to cats, he wouldn't have lasted with Mia's cat in the same
That's my
house for
reasoning.
several months
That's my
before.
exact reasoning. That's what I said, right? I said because he wouldn't have been able to last a day. But I found a better answer. One guy, sad. One guy, shocked. That guy, the cat's gone. Yeah, I was allergic.
You went to visit an abandoned castle when you
did I?
got trapped in the basement.
I got trapped.
There's a small bamboo stick on the table,
Oh,
almost
well,
as
lucky.
long as your forearm.
So I can practice my ninja skills.
In front of you, there are 3 doors, and you must spend 1 hour behind
Okay.
one of them to get out of the castle. Which is the safest option? Behind the first door, there's 100 rabid wild rats. Behind the second, there's a box filled with water, and you must
That's
keep your
not that one,
head
is it?
submerged in it. In the third door, there's an infinitely deep pool filled with box jellyfish.
A bamboo stick. It's rats, isn't it? Because aren't rats scared of bamboo? I'm saying door 1, please. Oh, no, you can breathe.
The second
stick, you
door.
can breathe.
You
no,
can use the
no,
bamboo stick to breathe.
Ah, no. But is that the safest option? If you're upside down for an hour, that you may pass out from all the blood rushing to your head. Therefore, that is more dangerous. I was right. Everyone else was wrong. We shall move on.
Brian was traveling by train to a nearby city.
Oh, was he? Well
He
done,
placed
Brian.
his watch on the table
flexing
and
his
was
watch
looking
off.
for his train ticket when the train went into a
Somebody's
dark
nabbing
tunnel. When it came out, Brian's watch was gone.
Oh,
there
who's
were
having
only
this?
3 people in the car.
Was
Mary
gone.
was sleeping the entire time. Christopher was
I
looking
think
for
Brian's
his
done it 'cause
wallet
it's
to
an
grab a
insurance
cup
scam.
of coffee.
He's not
Mike
as
was
wealthy as he
playing a
makes out
game
he
on
is.
his phone. Who took the watch?
Oh, we're going to say the lady because she wasn't asleep. We could see she wasn't asleep.
It was Mary. When the journey started, she had her sleeves rolled up, and if she were sleeping, she wouldn't put them down.
I didn't spot the sleeves, but I didn't think she was sleeping at the very start of the video. In fact, no, she wasn't asleep, was she? Yeah, see? She's not asleep. So I was right. Basically, I'm out riddling the video.
Sarah was walking out of the mall when someone
Shampoo
snatched the
nothing.
purse out of her hand and drove off in a red car. The security closed the parking lot and found 3 people with red cars.
Okay.
Alyssa said she was inside shopping when she got called by security. David said he had only just arrived. Bob said he was about to pay his parking fee and drive off. Who isn't telling the truth?
Bob. Because you could see the silhouette of the robber was wearing a hat. I mean, it's not that hard, is it?
David. He's got a parking ticket on his window. From the sign on the wall, he's been there for more than 2 hours without paying and
I'm
got
annoyed
a
I got
ticket.
that one wrong.
And he lies about being very allergic to cats.
They're using David's allergicness to cats against him.
Simon broke into the richest house in the neighborhood and
Ooh,
took a
very nice.
very expensive diamond.
The diamond.
Security guards caught him walking out and searched him for the diamond. They knew he'd taken it, so when they
This is
couldn't
how he got
find
so wealthy,
anything,
to buy
they
the watch.
X-rayed him.
Stealing diamonds.
Still, nothing showed up. Where was Simon carrying the
Oh,
diamond?
no, he didn't put it where I'm thinking. Where's he carrying the diamond? In his shoes? In his hair?
As soon as the guards caught him, he put it in one of their pockets. After the search was over and they were driving him home, he took it out of their pocket with nobody noticing.
Is that realistic? I feel like their answers are just as wild and made up as mine. It's like I could have said, well, when the police officers weren't looking, a helicopter for his accomplice came flying down from the sky, took the diamond without anybody seeing, and now he doesn't have him on anymore.
A crazy scientist took you into their basement and is planning to keep you there for a year.
Ooh.
He's given you the option to choose one of 3 foods to eat for the year to stay alive.
Chocolate.
Which one do you choose to save your life?
Chocolate.
Pasta and bread,
No.
rice and beans, steak and broccoli.
Well, I'm going steak and broccoli because it hasn't really got carbs. I know rice and beans probably. Rice and beans because carbs, protein.
If you only ate pasta and bread,
think rice
you'd
and
get
beans.
scurvy in just 8 months. And steak with broccoli is low in carbs, which will start breaking down your muscle mass to help you stay alive. Your best bet is rice and beans.
Rice and beans.
It's high in all 9 essential amino acids your body needs. And you can germinate some of the raw beans, eating their sprouts to get your vitamin C.
Oh, well done.
Aren't you a smart
Yeah, I'd
cookie?
love a cookie after I've been stuck down this basement.
A year passes and you've managed to get out of the basement. But to make it out of the house, you must pick one of the 3 doors the scientists created. The first room is filled with venomous cone snails. The second has 5 very hungry polar bears. The third is a saltwater tank with hundreds of piranhas. Which is the safest?
Well, I don't know anything about these snails, but they end up very slow, so I'd say snails or piranhas
The
if
third
not.
room. Piranhas are freshwater fish and can't survive in salt water.
You have to get into a technicality, don't you?
3 prisoners are sitting at the table having dinner, but one of them is wealthy. Can you guess who it is?
Not the same dude. The wealthy one, the one on the left.
It's not the guy with the
One's a
steak and the
chef?
shrimps. The little tag on his shirt reveals he's a chef, and he likes to prepare a special treat for himself. The guy with the jewels shows that he's rich, but in prison, jewelry is basically worthless. It's the third guy. Rich people try to keep low profile in prison, not to be targeted by others. That's why he doesn't flash any valuable possessions or his status.
Think like you're rich, you will be rich.
A group of researchers is trying to test your knowledge.
Okay.
They take you into their lab on an island in Italy and
very
present
nice.
3 dishes to you.
More
but
food,
only
okay.
one is safe to eat.
Okay.
Which do you choose?
Which do I
Cheese
choose?
infested by maggots, boiled pufferfish liver,
Not
or
pufferfish liver.
fly agaric mushrooms?
I'm going to say the cheese with maggots. Pufferfish liver, I think, is the one that's the really poisonous. And mushrooms are mushrooms. Don't want to be on shrooms. Cheese, maggots.
Pufferfish liver can be poisonous if it isn't prepared properly. And the fly agaric mushrooms are among the most dangerous in the world.
Really?
Maggot cheese, on the other hand, is
You've got a bad
actually a
stomach.
delicacy in Sardinia, Italy. So it's perfectly safe to eat.
How much would it cost for you to eat a block of cheese with maggots crawling through? And you have to eat the maggots as well.
One day, you wake up in an arena without knowing how you got there.
Ooh, like
From the
Gladiator.
speakers, you hear that you must fight one of 3 hybrid animals.
Go, baby!
Which one do you pick to stay alive?
Hybrid animal, I love
A
this.
polar bear with the head of a rattlesnake.
Screw
A
that.
hippo with a lion head.
No.
Or a hybrid with the face and body of a great white shark and the limbs of a
Oh
jaguar.
my god. The shark is super fast. The lion is aggressive. Oh my word. I'm going to take the shark because it can't live outside of water.
The great white shark hybrid. Since its body has gills, it won't be able to breathe outside water.
That is my brain.
You're an astronaut, and you've made it to
Yes.
Mars for an
I
expedition.
wanted to be an astronaut.
A team member greets you at the entrance to the base
Very
in their
kind of
workout
them.
clothes.
Thank you for being
When
so
you get
friendly.
in, you close the door and wait for the room to pressurize
Wait a minute. Where is my hand?
before taking off your spacesuit. When you walk in, you get a message that someone at the base is an imposter. Who could it be? A fellow astronaut
Among
who
Us.
covers his face because he got a sunburn, an engineer with flaky patches on her skin, or the person who greeted you at the door earlier.
Well, how did the middle guy get sunburned because they're in space? But I'm saying the first one because he won't wear a spacesuit in space.
The person you saw earlier. If they were human, They wouldn't survive outside
He's
the
an
base
alien!
in the planet's atmosphere. While walking in the forest, you come
Yeah.
across a mysterious local that blocks your way. He tells you if you solve his riddle, you're free to go. But if you don't, you'll have to stay in this forest forever. The riddle goes like this. You're seas without water, coasts without land, towns without people, and mountains without land. What are you?
Your seas without water, coast without sand, mountains without land. Bed.
Well, you're a map.
How can I twist that to make me right with bed? Now, I could go on an elaborate story for 5 minutes here and get it round so I was right, but unfortunately, I'm going to have to take the L. I've got one wrong.
You decided to go exploring a local cave.
Oh,
You
that was
walk
scary.
inside,
Absolute
and a landslide suddenly blocks the
my
way
worst
back.
nightmare.
Ahead, there are 4 tunnels, each with a sign showing you which dangers lurk inside.
Okay.
Which
what are we
one do
going
you
for?
choose to stay
don't know.
safe? The tunnel filled with molten lava,
Probably
the
not.
one filled with poisonous gas, the
Probably
one
not.
swarmed by bats,
Oh, yeah,
or
that
the
one.
tunnel with venomous spiders.
Bats. Death, 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 or not death. It's bats. Obviously bats.
You pick the last one. Spiders don't hunt humans for food and usually avoid them altogether.
Hang on a minute. I get spiders try to avoid humans, but I'm literally crawling through a pit of them. They cannot avoid me, therefore they will bite me. Whereas bats don't hunt humans. I've never heard of on the news. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we have a news bulletin. Bats have abducted a human. You've never heard of that. And if you agree with me that you would take the bats, make sure you drop a like and subscribe.
You just moved into a new town with only 2 barbers. You visit both their shops to decide which one you should pick.
Lovely beard.
The first shop is a bit messy, and the barber needs both a haircut and his beard
Definitely
trimmed.
my guy.
The second shop is shiny,
But
tidy,
he's a liar.
and the barber is
And he's
well
allergic to
shaved
cats.
with a perfect haircut.
And he's a thief.
But you decide to go to the first shop.
Yeah.
Why?
Because we know that David is allergic to cats. He robs people. I mean, it's that simple.
Each barber cuts the other barber's hair, and you pick the one who gave the other a nice haircut.
I don't know any barbers who get cut by their competitor next door. They get them cut by a friend or somebody they employ. So again, I am right. The Riddlers are wrong.
You've got a job as a helper to someone's
Okay.
mansion.
Is that a
But
mansion?
the mansion owner gives a tricky task. I need the least number of chairs for a table to seat 4 fathers and 2 grandfathers with 4 sons. You can't ask any questions, but what's the least number of chairs you must put out?
Well, there's none. They just all sit on the table.
4. The fathers could also be grandfathers, and they're all sons.
Or just sit on the table, mate. Or the floor. I'm going to title this video, Chuff Defeats Riddles.
Mary was selling a rope for $3.
Rip
The
off.
buyer gave her $10. But
Okay.
because she had no change, she went to the grocery store
walked
next
off.
door to get some. She then returned with $7. But then the clerk from the store came outside to tell her that she gave her a counterfeit bill. Mary called a detective, and she must tell him how much she had lost. What should her answer be?
How much she's lost? She's lost 3. She's lost the value of the rope. So $3. Well, did he take the rope, though?
$7 and the rope. Oh, and it turns out the counterfeiter buyer was a guy named David.
But she didn't
What a
give the money to
troublemaker.
David. She didn't say that she gave the change to David. She said he'd gone. Again, I think I'm right. I love those riddles, and I only got 1 wrong. How many did you get wrong? Or did you twist them all so you got them all right? Anyway, guys, drop a like, subscribe, and then click here, please, now.